What's up? Beau Allen here.
He just took over the mic. Well, Beau's in his home state.
Yeah, I'm feeling myself.
Yeah.
But we got a little white defensive line pod for you right this moment.
That's
rarity.
A rarity. Great White Hopes.
We're going to give a lot of effort. We don't know if it's going to be a great pod, but we can give a lot of effort.
A little stiff hips.
Yeah.
But we got a couple locker room guys here.
So first question for you as a big white D tackle, what do you think about the Winter Warrior uniforms that you guys are going to be debuting? How do you feel about that?
I was a big proponent for some All Blacks.
Yeah, smart.
Just once in my career, I want to be a Viking for life, but man, can we get a black uniform? Yeah. It's not flattering.
No,
I understand.
We used to like the white on white, and then the O-linemen and the D-tackles didn't love it.
The all whites are tough. We had the black unis in Philly, and we'd bust them out. Like, I think we always wore them at night. We had a couple night games against the Giants, and I felt so sexy.
You look great.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was the best.
My wife and I were building a house back in Omaha, and we're doing some of the interior designs, and I'm looking for like some photos for the man cave and stuff, and I'm just waiting for an all black uniform.
Yeah.
There's one photo I can hang that I feel good about.
Yeah.
So this is year 2 with B-Flow, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've seen a couple different defenses. I played for B-Flow a year in New England, and I used to remember getting like the third call right before the ball snapped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like there's a call coming. You got to be ready the whole time. Is that kind of how it is? And how hard was it to transition to being cued in right up to the snap?
Yeah, I mean, I think it plays to my strengths, at least being able to kind of control up front. What are we gone in? What's the alert? What are we killing to? 4 open, under center, pistol checks. Like we do have a lot. And, they make the joke like defensive linemen, we're not very smart players.
Yeah.
But Flow does challenge us to be kind of intellectual in this space, and it helps us when we're handicapped by talent. We can go to that different checks, and he always says we want to hold the card last, and why would we not? Right. And so it's been great, and we had a great stretch down the road last season where we were playing, top 3, top 5 defense for a handful of weeks. And, we're hoping we can stay a little bit more consistent to that. We added some more talent on this side of the ball, but I love the system, and it's made my career. I feel like I'm pointing up.
Yeah. I mean, along with that, I think it's always interesting when you learn a new scheme, because you kind of feel like you have to start over in a certain sense. But like you're later in your career now, you're not a rookie anymore. What is it easier to learn a new scheme when you've kind of been in different schemes with different coordinators, or is it a little tougher because you feel like maybe you're stuck in your ways a little bit?
That's a good question. I'd say a little bit of both. I think it's easier to learn plays because you can, this is this play under this coordinator. This is similar to this concept we had last season. But I think what's tough is maybe more your play style. It's like, man, I've acquired 3,000 plus snaps in the National Football League, and I had success doing this. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, they're asking me to play it this way. And so there's where egos get involved.
Right.
But I think that we don't really play hero ball here. I think that's one of the things that we pride ourselves on is like, I do your 111th, really buy into that big culture thing here. So, but yeah, I could see like, for example, earlier in training camp, we were playing a lot of 2 eyes. It's like, man, I made my money as a shade. It's like, how do we do this? And
that was going to be something we were going to ask you. How many damn alignments do you have to get in this defense?
Right.
And what's your least favorite alignment?
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of man hand down stuff. So 2 eyes or 4 eyes, just because I don't have as much reps there.
Yeah.
Been comfortable as a 0. I like a ball hand down. So if I'm playing shades or 3s or 5s, but yeah, I mean, we have groupings where I'm the only D lineman, where there's 2 big guys, where there's 3 big guys, where there's 4 big guys. I mean, any mix in between. We're stunting from what you would call base personnel to look in a nickel personnel, because we have versatility at outside linebacker that can play middle linebacker, or middle linebacker that can play nickel. I mean, we have a lot of stuff. So I can line up from 0 all the way out to 5. And a lot of the guys have that play versatility, position versatility, and that's one of the things that Flo looks for, I think, when he brings in guys.
Metellus seems to be like the chess piece that you got to have.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Speak of the freaking.
You look jacked, bro. Dude, what's the weight room? Hinks has got you. What up, big boy?
Oh
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
What's going on, man?
I had to come say hello to my
I
guy.
know. I'm gonna see. I'm good, bro.
I'm
I'm doing all right. I did some push-ups this morning. Yeah, you can't put me in a 3 technique anymore, but
Not with that attitude.
Yeah, I still got it.
Terrible attitude.
Yeah, terrible attitude. Terrible attitude. No, we were just talking about 4 eyes. He was praising you. He was saying, I love how he puts me in a 4 eye and a 2 eye and a shade. Good to see you, man.
All right, Coach.
Bro, he looks good.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I mean,
He looks like you got a couple snaps in him,
Yeah,
huh?
seriously. Let's line him up, man.
Holy shit. But so you line up all – you mentioned something a minute ago that I thought was interesting. You said when there's a talent handicap or a deficit.
Yeah.
What are some examples of games last year where you guys felt like, man, they have some matchup problems for us, but we were able to put those fires out?
Well, I don't know about specifics, but and I think that I'd ride with the crew we had last year for sure, and I ride with the crew that we have this year for sure. But if you think about, I don't know how many Pro Bowlers or All Pros we had, and if you're not amazing up front, well, we're going to move the front quite a bit. Mm-hmm. If you're not amazing on the back end, well, let's add 6 to the pressure so that the ball has to come out now. And so Flo was able to, use some of these coverages, use some of these kills and checks, three calls in the system, so that we took plays off the menu. Teams couldn't run weak against us. Teams really couldn't run boots against us. Screen game was really tough. Like, we tried to eliminate a lot of things that we did or that they could do, and limit that offensive play caller's play sheet. Not many OCs are okay getting the 3 yards, the 4 yards, the 3 yards, the 4
yards. They get impatient.
Yeah, they want to take that big shot, and we knew a negative would come from that. And so again, like I said, moving our front quite a bit, getting us into big tilt calls or pushing fronts over so we can eliminate double teams, and then on the back end, that almost new coverage where it's kind of zero, but the ball, we bring so many, the ball has to come out. He doesn't have time to go through a full progression, and then your DBs just have to be sure tacklers.
Harrison, obviously you're a smart football player. I think it's funny because, I was a nose guard, Chris defensive lineman, you're a nose guard, interior defensive lineman. People think of us as, pretty dumb. It's pretty simple. O-linemen think that D-linemen are stupid. I think
not here. They're not.
Not in here. No, not white nose guards.
In Jim Schwartz's defense.
Yes,
we were dumb.
But I think it's interesting because I talk about this a lot. I think you're so close to the ball. I agree with you, Chris. By the way, I heard you. It was just go. But when you're so close to the ball, you have no room for error. You miss your hands, you're getting rolled on a double team. You take one bad step, you're going to get reached. But, when you're a smart player and you understand how an offense is trying to attack you, you know what's coming. You kind of have the answer to the test. Like, how much of that do you do? How often pre-snap do you kind of know what's coming, whether it's formation or, just kind of the O-line stance and shit like that, or else like calls that they're making up front? Like, usually.
That's great. I mean, I think that if you watch my training camp tape, I'm not a good football player because we don't game plan these guys. Like, it's just reading keys, it's reading blocks, and we have some guys in our room that are great at that, and they don't buy into the formation and who just went to a bunch and what's this backfield set, and they just read keys and their talent can take them from there. When I was a rookie, I backtrack a little bit. I had 2 great vets. I had Kyle Williams and Star Lotulelei, and they were 2 completely different vets. Like, Kyle is in that room every day over lunch watching film. He's making our calls. He's understanding coverages when we have all this stuff. Then you had Star, who in week 10's asking me what the password to the iPad is.
Playing ball. He's playing ball, baby. He's out here balling.
No center is going to reach me.
I'm trying to make some nose guard plays.
I mean, $50 million man. I'm shade, no one can block me. So I had kind of 2 different styles, and I saw the one that maybe I had to gravitate more toward. But no, man, it's been really fun. And I think if you were to go look at my production, I'm probably more productive at the end of the season, where I would now have 10 games to watch, and I'm more productive in second half of games when you see the runs before, you see how guys lean. If I have a 10 tackle game, I bet maybe 3 are in the first and 7 are in the second half, just because I can feel those plays coming again.
And it kind of later in the season, you get an understanding of what teams are, how they want to attack you. And you kind of end up seeing the same runs. Like, hey, we got hit with this big play from the Bears.
That's coming back.
It's definitely coming
back, dude.
Exactly.
When's that reverse coming back? Whatever. I also think, like, nowadays where you take the pads off later in the season, guys with really good technique and really good hands who can maintain that technique thrive in December. Yeah. Some guys need a lot of reps putting their hands on people. Some can remember what it's like. Do you feel like at your position, as you've seen the NFL change a little bit, and you've mentioned this regime is a little bit easier as far as like practice and that sort of thing, do you feel like you can get your reps as the season goes?
Yeah. I think one of the greatest things here is Kevin and Flo both, they'll say, to some of the older guys, like, what do you need in the week to be your best for 4 hours on Sunday? And be a mature enough of the guys he brings in here that aren't assholes trying to get the easiest way out of things and cut practice and stuff. But Harrison, this came up in the game last week. You're dinged with this. You have swelling here. What do you need this week? What do you need on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, so that you can give me your best on? And hey, I'm telling you, coach, I need Thursday off. Or hey, I'm good for the walkthrough, and just limit my snap counts. And like, to have that repertoire with a coach, because he trusts you, he knows you'll fight through, he knows you're tough, he knows you're going to do things.
Yeah, but you've earned that. You have to earn that ability.
But not every team's like that.
Exactly. There's still guys that say, great, your knee's swollen, cool, tape it up, go get this 15 play roll.
What do you think of the young guys? Not just the young guys, but the new guys. Grenard just walked in here.
Yeah.
We had him on the show last week. I thought he had a great year last year. Big shoes he's filling, obviously. But also you bring in Van Ginkel and then you draft Dallas Turner. Talk to me about the new faces.
Yeah, I mean, I think that room specifically, they talked about a lot this offseason with Kirk and like his leadership and how we're going to miss that. And I said it's going to be, by a committee is where that leadership will. In the same way with Daniil's absence, like obviously we got JG, but it's going to be from a committee that we're going to replace that pressure. DJ Wanham, another amazing football player that went down with injury. Yeah. But so we added the pieces. This helps us. And where I was talking about handicap before, if we can get pressure with 4, I mean, imagine the creativity they can do on the back end with that. Yeah. So being able to throw all these different fresh bodies, I mean, that makes a lot. I think pass rushing in the NFL is the most tiring thing in the world.
No, it can be.
There's a big difference between your rush and the first play of 2 minute and your rush on play 7.
But if you're in 2 minutes, a good tired.
Well,
yeah,
that must be nice to be in 2 minute, Chris.
Well, it sucks for us because I love 4 minute, but I hate 4 minute. The idea of how we got to it.
Yeah,
exactly.
They're
gonna run do it.
I was saying,
I
got so used to playing 4 minute in St. Louis. I was like, man, this is easy. We get power again. That's great.
Yeah, power counter.
You don't want to be in that situation.
22 personnel.
Yeah,
yeah. Harrison, I want to look forward a little bit, just talk some NFC North stuff. I grew up in Minnesota.
Right.
I was actually a Packers fan growing up. I had the opportunity to play in Lambeau, which was really cool for me. I think it's one of those historic stadiums. Also kind of Soldier Field. Just wondering, obviously you have familiarity with outdoor games in Buffalo. Do you look forward to those late season games in Lambeau and in Chicago, or is that something where you're just like, fuck?
Yeah, I might lose a little respect from you two out of this one. I'm not gonna lie.
Sleeves.
This goes a little bit
I know
off.
You're a sleeve guy.
This goes a little bit off.
Sleeves?
But it makes you feel like
No.
you're a block.
Okay, no. If you want me to get vulnerable,
Be
I'll
honest.
get
Be
vulnerable.
vulnerable, bro.
This is a safe space, brother.
This isn't even going out.
I'm insecure about my arms.
So
you
am
shouldn't
I.
be.
Dude, you
shouldn't be.
Dude,
So am I. That's why I got tattoos.
Right.
Look at those hogs.
So this Star, perfect example.
Oh.
I go out there next to Star back my rookie year. I'm strong. I got good weight.
He's got
Remember,
body
Yeah,
dysmorphia.
I'm familiar. Yeah. We all do.
Star puts his arm down. I thought he was in like a 4-legged, 4 quads on the ground.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've got to wear sleeves.
That's how I felt with Vita down in Tampa, dude.
Right. So,
Let me give you the tip, all right?
In Miami, week 3, 110 degrees. I got long sleeves on.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to go to the trainer pre-game. You have him lube up your arms with Vaseline.
Have you not
That's
thought
what you
about
do.
this?
I've seen this before.
Yeah, I know he's seen it.
It matters.
It's not a shiny thing. It's
a shape thing.
Yes.
Go talk to Josh Hinks. Get
Yes.
like a bicep band, super tight. Put it right here.
Or just get some lactic
It's
acid.
basically
you got to pump it in the game.
BFR,
exactly.
blood flow restriction.
Just pregame.
You be down in your stance, yoked up,
and then
baby.
there's the other side. It's like, it's not worth that much.
And you're
I'll just throw
supposed to
some
be the
sleeves on.
guy. He is supposed to be the guy that if I was just looking at roster pictures, I
No
would be
sleeves.
like, yeah, he's going to be
Never wore
sleeveless.
this. Yeah, I
he's
respect
like-
it,
For
man.
sure. I mean, it definitely is my brand, but it's like, but to answer your question, I think like snow and rain games are the best games there are. They're going to run the football.
Yeah.
That's my money. So
Yeah.
that's fun
No,
stuff.
I'm happy you said
in
that.
division, I wonder if the answer is right here in division, but who do you think's the best coached offensive line in football? Since you kind of think about things that way.
I think that the Lions do a really good job.
Yeah.
I will say, and you could ask me this 3-4 years ago when I was in Buffalo. I think, non-biased, I think that the Vikings front works together very well. Some of the slip blocks and the combo blocks that they do. Now our scheme isn't down
The
attacking
outside
gas.
zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the way that they can pass off some stuff,
And marry
if you're
everything.
if you're not jumping the cadence, you could get reached pretty quick.
On the backside, that's tough too
Well-
with the combo. If you're a 3 technique or 4-eye,
Right.
Get overtaken easy in a 4-eye going away. Well, not really. I actually didn't mind being in a 4-eye because your man hands down.
Right.
And
I thought it was harder as a 3.
You take a baby step so you don't take too big a step
Yeah.
because that's how you get cut off.
100%.
When it comes to playing in division, is there a team that you think Minnesota doesn't get along with just inherently?
Just a little more chippy.
Yeah.
Ugh. I think our fans probably want it to be the Packers. I
Yeah.
think that's what they want. But I would say it's the Lions. Probably they're top dogs right now, winning the division. They've got a big swag to them, and again, that's like smash mouth football. So it's one thing if you're beating guys off of reverses and trick passes and stuff, but when a team rushes for 150 yards to win a game on you, and you can't stop a 4th down. That's tough. So I would say that's probably where it's the chippiest right now.
Yeah.
Continuing to talk about the Lions and their O-line, actually, Frank Ragnow came on the podcast couple weeks ago. He's a Minnesota guy.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah, I'm sure you've had a lot of good battles with him. What do you think the best part of his game is? Because I really think he's a good player.
I think he almost kind of like Kelsey, kind of like that body blocks.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just shooting hands where if you can beat his hands, you got him. And he's so good with his grip that it's not a hold, but he's holding you.
Yeah.
I mean, no ref will call
The
what
under
he's doing.
punch
It's
or-
under punch. He body blocks.
Yep.
And so as you're shedding, you cannot create enough space to
Right.
draw the hold. And so, you know, I had some production against the Lions the last couple of years, but they're just ugly tackles.
Yeah.
I'm throwing my body and running backs are tripping.
Yeah, you're
over
trying
my
to get
body.
off a play.
Yeah. So
yeah.
then they're falling. Then it's leaky yardage,
Yeah.
and now it's 2nd and 6 when maybe I should have made it 2nd
Right.
and 8. But we've had four battles or so these last couple of years, and I think very mutual respect there. And I know that I got to lace them up when we're playing those guys.
All right, so
Absolutely.
maybe the final question, we'll give somebody some love here. Who is the biggest badass in the interior defensive line or offensive line in the NFL?
Biggest badass in the interior offensive line in the NFL. Ooh.
And I just mean bad dude. He doesn't have to be the best player, but somebody you're like, hey, it's lunch pail day.
That is a good question. You guys kind of stooped me here.
You can think about that. I have another one ready for you if you're good.
Well, hey, Ryan Jensen was a
Yeah,
He thinks so too.
dude.
He used to bully Beau and
fuck out of here, dude.
That one came to mind originally.
Yeah.
But I'll have to think about active. Okay, go on.
So I was just wondering, this is a question I love asking, nose guards, interior defensive linemen. And you can go all the way back to college if you want, but what's the most physical football game you ever played in?
Ooh.
Just
that's
having
a good
flashbacks.
one.
That San Francisco game last year was pretty
that's
physical.
what I'm kind of going to, but
Yeah.
Trent Williams didn't play.
I know,
Yeah.
but still, you didn't have to think about that. It still was physical as fuck.
It was. I actually think about the 49ers game during COVID when I was in Buffalo.
Yeah.
That was a very physical game.
Yeah.
There were some physical games when Derrick Henry was balling at
Yeah.
Tennessee, New England.
Yeah.
Actually, that New England game where they threw the ball 3 times.
Yeah.
When I was in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 2 for 3. I think they
That's
ended up
just-
winning.
Was that in the wind?
Yeah,
That's
win
just
games,
9 on
early
7.
game.
Yeah.
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 No, it was
your
they,
kind of
they ran
game.
power like
Sleeves.
Yeah, double sleeves. Double sleeves.
Very good.
If I was going to throw some love to an interior offensive lineman, I would say I totally know this kid's name, but I'm missing the right guard for the Broncos. Just got paid.
Miners.
Quinn
Yeah,
Miners.
he's a big Broncos fan.
Yeah.
I totally slipped my
Tough
mind. And
guy.
then Dickerson out of
Yeah.
Eagles, like
Yeah.
you know, last year that we had a package where I was the only D tackle on the field, and so it was me and those 3 guys inside, and it was
That sounds fun, man.
there was a lot of plays made, but my gosh, it was
war zone in there.
You're just in the locker
Good.
before the game.
No, I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, so our game plan for one of the best O-lines is one big guy. We're not going 5. Flo came back in. We'll ask him about the game plan.
It's like when they didn't block Micah Parsons. Interesting game plan.
Unblocked, but
Harrison, appreciate the time, man. Hope you have a great year. Been fun watching you play. You got our respect for sure, man.
I appreciate
Absolutely.
y'all. Come on
Appreciate you,
anytime,
man.
guys. It's cool.
Love to have
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Yeah.